Hey everyone, in this video I'm gonna show you how I made 300k gold with leatherworking. Alright, so first off let me show you my ledger. So as you can see, if I filter with leatherworking, I have made in total 387,000 gold, so actually pretty close to 400k. And in this video I'm going to show you exactly everything that I did and how you can do it yourself. Please note that pretty much everything that I'm going to show you in this video is applicable to other professions. So if you don't want to use leatherworking, but you'd like to use like blacksmithing or tailoring or anything else, that will work too. There's just a couple things you're going to need to adapt, but overall it will be pretty much the same thing. So the very first thing that you're going to want to do is leveling up your profession. So the best way to do this is to go to wowprofessions.com. Then you're going to go to profession leveling. And let's say I wanted to level my classic levelworking. I would click on this vanilla 1 to 300. And then you just basically buy all the materials it tells you to buy. And you craft everything it tells you to craft. This is basically like the best way to level your profession. It's very quick and very cheap as well. So once you've leveled your profession, by the way, I would recommend focusing on one expansion at a time. So let's say you want to do levelworking, you do like classic levelworking first, then I don't know, like cataclysm levelworking, just focus on one at a time. And so once you've got your profession to the max level, you can get into the interesting stuff, which is collecting recipes. So most of the time for professions, there's going to be a bunch of recipes that you get by just learning them from the trainer. But there's always, as you can see here, there's always quite a few that you get from other sources. So the best way to go out and get recipes is by installing the add-on called All the Things. As you can see, it's this add-on right here, All the Things. And what this add-on does is when you open up your profession, it will have this pop-up here. And this has basically all the recipes in the game and how you can get them. So here, as you can see, it says dungeons and raids. So you have all the recipes that drop from dungeons and raids from classic, then TBC, etc. And so what I would recommend doing is just going through this list here that it tells you. And so if it says go to this vendor, you go to the vendor. If it says run this raid, you run that raid. And this will allow you to get a bunch of new recipes, some of them which you might need to farm for a while, and some of them that can be found on the auction house. You can maybe buy these. I guess that would be a way to invest in your profession. Some of them are like word drops that are very expensive on the auction house, but if you feel like it's worth it, then you can go for it. And as you can see, I spent quite a lot of time going around to vendors, running instances and stuff like that. And I have, quite a few recipes. This, allows you to make more gold. Every time you get a new recipe, that's a new gold making opportunity. Later on in the video, I will go over the top items, but for now, I will teach you how to set up your TSM for crafting. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to go to leatherworking, and then you're going to click on this TSM icon here. Then you're going to click on this little box here that says create profession groups. And what this will do is it will create a group like this, leatherworking with items and materials, and it will have all the items that you can currently craft. So if ever you get like a new recipe, you just need to re-click on create profession groups and it will update it with whatever new recipe you have. Make sure that you have this window kind of expanded here because sometimes the button does not show. And then once you've got your profession groups, you're going to need to go to items here. And then you're going to need to make an auctioning operation, a crafting operation, and potentially a mating operation as well. So I'm going to go over the crafting operation for now. So if you want to make an operation, you'd go on operations here, go to crafting operations, and then and then you can click this button here to make a new one. I'll just show you what I personally use for my items. So for minimum and maximum restock quantity, you're going to want to set that to 1, both of them. But what this means is effectively TSM will make it so you always have 1 of each item in your bags. So whenever you do a restock, it will get you to craft 1 of the item if you don't already have 1 on a character. Min profit amount is very, very important because this will ensure that the items that you craft are profitable. So what I have here is 1000 gold, which means that I'm only crafting items that are going to be worth at least 1000 gold. You can set that to a lower amount if you're a bit newer to gold making. This will allow you to have a bigger stock of items, but for me 1000 gold works just fine. And then 15% crafting to make sure that I'm making at least a little bit of profit. These things here, these are like the most important ones. If you have those set correctly, then you'll basically be good to go. So once you've created your operations, you're going to go back to groups. You're going to go to items here, operations, and then you're going to go crafting operation. You're going to click that override parent operations, and then you can just select the crafting operations that you've just made. I'm going to show you the auctioning operations in just a second, but if you'd like to just get all the TSM strings directly without having to make them yourself, then you can head over to gaminghero.io, and in the member guides there are TSM crafting guides. There are some for leatherworking, and you can basically just copy the strings instantly and you'll have the same stuff as me. So that includes the crafting operations, the auctioning operations for groups, everything you need. Alright, just a little bit more of boring TSM stuff and then you can actually craft your items. You just need now an auctioning operation. This is the operation that determines how TSM will post your items on the auction house, so it is pretty important. Once again, you're going to go to operations, then auctioning operations. There is mine right here. This first tab here doesn't really matter. You're going to want to go to posting. This is where all the interesting stuff happens. So auction duration 24 hours. Personally, I have it that way because I don't really post my auctions like every single day, but the optimal way to have this would be probably 12 hours, and with posting it once in the morning, once in the evening. But you can just have it to whatever you like. It doesn't really matter. Post cap is the maximum amount that it will post on the auction house. I like to have this to 1 because truth is you don't really need to have it be over 1. Amount kept in bags is 0. The posting price right here, that's pretty much the most important one. So undercut amount, you need to have this to 0. There is no point in undercutting in WoW, so just please keep this to 0. The newest auction gets sold first anyways, so you don't need to undercut at all. Alright, so for minimum price, I have 115% crafting. This means that I will be making at least 15% profit, but you can't just have it this way, because if you only have a price that's related to crafting, let's say you have an item that costs you 50 gold to craft, but it's actually worth 5000 gold on the auction house, TSM is going to post it for like 60 gold, while you could be posting it for 5000 gold. So you're going to want to have 50% region market average right there as well. For the other prices, it's basically kind of the same thing with just changing the numbers. For maximum price, I have 500% crafting and 500% region market average. And for normal price, I have 250%. You can, just change these if you want, depending on what server you're on and stuff like that. But for me, this works just fine. Canceling doesn't really matter either. You can just keep it however it is. Alright, so once you have your auctioning operations, once again, you need to assign it to your group. So you go right here and you override the parent operation. And you're basically kind of good to go at this point. Now you just need to learn how to do a restock. So the way that you would do this is you'd go to your profession, go to the TSM tab, and then you should see this type of screen right here. you're going to go to restock groups right here. You're going to select your leatherworking group, and this will basically use your crafting operations that you've made to pick out a bunch of items that you need to craft. So right here, as you can see, it's got a list of everything I need to craft, but there is more. You can go to gathering and then open task list. And what this will do is it will have all the materials that you need to craft all the items that you've just selected. So now you can just head over to the auction house and buy all of this stuff. And once you've bought it, you can go back to the crafting tab and you'll just press this button here, craft next. And it will basically go through all the items. And then you can just post them on the auction house and you're good to go. Just a quick warning. You need to make sure that there aren't some fake value items. What I'm talking about here is there are some items where the materials have been removed from the game. So they cost like thousands and thousands of gold to craft. So if you ever see that there are like materials that seem really expensive, they might be like removed from the game, so you're gonna want to avoid those items. Usually there's just like 1 or 2 per profession, but it is worth mentioning. So now you've learned basically how you can set up a profession from 0 to hero. This will allow you to make tons and tons of gold. The more professions you have, the more expansions, the more recipes you have, the more gold you will make. But now, if you want to save some time, I will talk about the top items for me for leatherworking. That way you can go after those items directly and start making some good gold. Alright, so I sold basically a bunch of different items one time for like 4,000 to 5,000 gold. But there are a few items that really stood out, so I'm gonna show you those. The first one, which is really like a top one, is the Onyxia Scale Cloak. So recently, Blizzard put a new secret chest in the game that requires this item to unlock it. So on patch day, these sold for like 30,000 gold. I was able to make like 200k in one sitting, and they still sell pretty quickly. As you can see, the region sell rate is 0.1, which is pretty good. And even though their price has dropped, it's still pretty decent. The recipe is super easy to get. All you need to do is go to Dust Shallow March, and then you're gonna go to this raid right here, Onyxia's Lair. You're gonna go in there, you're gonna kill Onyxia, and once you kill Onyxia, you'll get a quest item, which you can turn in Stormwind or Orgrimmar. And so in Stormwind, the turn-in will be like around here, I think. And just on the other side right here, you'll see there's an NPC that once you've turned in the Onyxia's head, it will give you a quest if you have leatherworking leveled up. And you can basically pick up this quest and he'll just give you the recipe. I have not done this on Horde, so I don't know where it is in Orgrimmar, but once again, the add-on, all the things will tell you in this pop-up list. It really has like all the info that you need. So if you ever have a doubt, you can just go check it out here and you'll be able to figure out where you need to go. Another really good item is the Tough Scorpid items. This is a world drop set, but it can be farmed pretty easily. All you need to do is you head over to Kalimdor, to Naris, and you go like around here in the beach here, and you kill like all the giants that you can find. And they'll drop like all the different recipes. I was able to farm all of them in about an hour, I think. And so those items don't all sell for like tons and tons of gold, but they actually tend to sell pretty quickly. I've sold most of them like 1 or 2 times, so it's definitely worth farming. It's always a good idea to have those items that like sell for just a few thousand gold, but sell pretty often, because those are how you're gonna make like the most of your gold. The big items, you know, they're really good, you know, they sell for 100k once in a year, but in my opinion, the strength of profession really lies in those like consistent items that can get you some consistent gold over time. One last item that's been really good for me is the Warbear Woolies. As you can see, I've sold those 4 times, so they sell like super quickly, and they're currently for 10k on the auction house, which is a huge amount. And same thing, those can be farmed super easily. you just need to go to Fellwood, and then you'll see around this place here, you can kill all the mobs here, and you'll get reputation for Timber Maw Hold. And then you just go into the Maw Hold here, and there's an NPC that sells you the recipe once you've reached a certain amount of reputation. Once more, like, all the recipes are in this pop-up here. You can just like look them up on Wowhead, and you'll be easily able to find like how to farm every single one of them. So I would definitely recommend you to go after those 3 items that I just went over. But just really just have fun, explore the world, do whatever all the things tell you to do, and you'll be able to like get tons and tons of recipes pretty passively. And then all you need to do is just do a restock every now and then, using those TSM operations that you made or that you imported from gaminghero.io, and you'll be good to go. So this is how I made 300,000 gold with leatherworking. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments, and once again, if you have any interest in gold making in WoW, gaminghero.io is the way to go. There are really like tons of amazing gold making guides there, and you can import all the TSM strings that I showed you. Thank you for watching the video, and I'll see you next time.